Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show on Rock Sports Now. Steve Bradley and Peter Carosa joining me in the chair across the way. Peter, the sports broadcast director for the Mendon Honeoye Falls Lima Sentinel. Peter will be in for the first couple of segments. Jeff was out seeing Sammy Hagar last night. So, Peter, welcome. We've got a jam-packed show. It's going to be exciting. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Jeff's been covering high school sports since before I was born, so big shoes to fill, but I'll try my best.
Well, I'm sure you'll do fine. You're a well-prepared, very knowledgeable person, and just a jam-packed show, as we mentioned. We'll start championship games in Section 5 football last night. Our Pittsford Pub Game of the Week featured undefeated Brighton, the number 1 seed, and number 2 UPrep, the 8-1 Griffins. Great game. UPrep prevailed with a huge second half, 40-8. UPrep coach Isiah Young, game MVP Todd Gillman Jr. will join us here in a few minutes. Then we'll be joined by Brighton coach Steve Leanne, always a very classy gentleman, going to come on and talk about the game, talk about his team's season as well. And then we'll do our award segment, always our Bob Johnson Athletes of the Week. Then we'll be followed by Pittsford Sutherland Soccer, a visit from the Knights, 3-time Section 5 champions, class champions. They play at Williamsville South tonight. Coach Sean Hopkins and senior forward Will Field will join us. And then our final segment, we'll talk some tennis, Peter. A great inspirational story. Larisa Kotok of Gananda and her coach Terry Krocke from Marion. Gananda and Marion merged tennis teams this summer. Larisa, from a Class C school, went all the way to the state finals. There are about, I think they said 10,000 players that play tennis in New York State, and a player from a Class C school finished second. So huge day beyond football. There's boys and girls soccer, boys and girls volleyball, cross country. And without further ado, Peter, why don't you kick us off with some of the recapping some of the action from last night's Section 5 football playoffs?
Yeah, so we'll start with Class AA. Number 2 Aquinas battled number 3 Pittsford, and it was the Lil Irish getting the best of Pittsford. 35-27 was the final. Quarterback Will Benjamin had 179 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and Amaj Giddens had another 129 yards rushing and a 68-yard touchdown catch. So big win there for Aquinas. They're punching their ticket to the sectional championship next week, and they'll be playing a rematch against McQuaid. So
yeah, huge rivalry game and a rematch from the October 15th game. McQuaid prevailed 22-21, back and forth game all the way. You mentioned the infamous light delay that night at St. John Fisher, and Aquinas went for 2 at the end. And I think a lot of people on both sides said maybe in 4 weeks we would see that rematch, and that rematch will be actually next Saturday night at Hilton at 6 p.m. So just a highly anticipated match right there. We mentioned our Pittsford Pub Game of the Week. We're going to hear a lot more about this. Class A1 UPrep 40-8 win over Brighton, the school's first Section 5 championship there. And UPrep not going to have much time to rest. They play Canandaigua in the Class A state qualifier next week. The Braves rolled to their 26th straight victory against Section 5 opponents, a 41-14 win over Spencerport last night in the A2 final. Brian Boldrin, the Canandaigua quarterback, 165 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Here's a great stat from Bob Chavez. He gave me this yesterday. Brian Boldrin, 27-1 as a starter. Canandaigua has won 3 straight championships since, for the first time since the mid-'80s when Billy Sharr was the quarterback. They've looked good, so it'll be UPrep and Canandaigua next week in the Class A2 game. Why don't we switch to Class B, the game that you and I called last night down at Honeoye Falls Lima. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, last night was a great game between the 1-seeded Cougars and the 4-seeded Dansville-Waco football team, and it was the Cougars who ended up punching their ticket to their 3rd consecutive title game. Final score between HFL and DWC was 41-18. Zach Meacham, 2 rushing touchdowns. Donnell Hall, 2 rushing touchdowns. Brody Young, a little bit tough night for him, but he still managed to get 2 passing touchdowns. And they'll play number 2 Batavia, who very big statement win, 60-21 against the Wayne Eagles. So those two teams, a rematch of the Section 5 Class B championship from this past May. The teams faced each other already once this season, and it was a 1-point game with HFL defeating Batavia in Batavia. So this game will be played next Saturday, November 13th at 6 p.m. at Pittsford Sutherland. So another rematch here in the championship. Certainly going to be an exciting one. You and I both were at that HFL Batavia game, and I got to think that it's going to live up to the hype that one did as well.
This is a great time of year. The sequel doesn't always live up to the original, and for both Aquinas and McQuaid and Batavia HFL, it would be difficult to do so, but great storylines across the board there, and those games are at the same time next Saturday night, and I think I know where I'll be, but I think I'll also have a device in hand so I can monitor the other game. Checking Class C semifinals, the East Rochester Gananda rolls on, 28-13 win over Letchworth Perry Warsaw, and the Bombers will face. This is the one final that's not set yet. Leroy and Haverling, the 2 and 3 seeds, play today at noon. We had Haverling on last week, a big day for them. Their boys soccer team's playing in the state quarterfinals, so a huge day down there. Class D, the battle of the hyphenated teams. Number 1, Oakfield, Alabama / Elba, 54. Number 5, Caledonia Mumford / Byron Purgeon, 20. The Aggies from Oakfield, Alabama, Elba, 10-0, have been just putting up huge numbers all year. They will play number 2, Avon, in the final at Batavia's Vendetta Stadium Friday, 7 o'clock. And then 8-man football. We can't forget the 8-man football. Number 2, Red Jackets, been a machine all year with a 52-12 win over Pembroke. They'll play in the final at noon next Saturday at Caledonia Mumford. Shout out to Hilton Soccer. Big win last night. We had Hilton on. Cadets, thank you. You lived up to your obligation. Coach dressed up as Ted Lasso this week after winning the sectional finals over Fairport. So had some great fun with Hilton. And then some soccer games. Fillmore, Haverling, and Pittsford Sutherland all play today at Williamsville South on the boys' side. The girls' side, there's 4 games in Section 5 today. Penfield and Spencerport play their quarterfinal games at Webster Thomas. Actually, 5 games, Palemac, Byron Virgin, and Fillmore will be at Cal Mum. And Penfield girls field hockey is in the state quarterfinals. We mentioned all the volleyball. And then swimming and cross-country championships, gymnastic championships. And but let's get to that Pittsford Pub game of the week. It's been kind of a whirlwind night for Coach Young and UPrep, but love to welcome Coach Young on now and just hear about that huge second half that the Griffins were able to put together. Coach Young, great. And TJ Gillum, the MVP, is with you. Morning, fellas. How's it feel this morning?
Great.
Yeah.
Echo that sentiment.
Coach Young, I'll start with you. Your team, and you spoke about this a little bit after the game, you don't have your own practice field. You have to bus to practice. We've got our special guest, too. You've got your daughter, Gemma.
This morning.
Yeah, Gemma's 6 months old. And Coach, you called the win last night monumental. And you had the opportunity to not only hold the Section 5 trophy above your head, UPrep's first in football, but also hold your daughter after the game. And just talk about the emotions that went through you last night as your team broke away from an 8-8 tie at halftime to secure this win.
Hard to describe. A lot of different emotions. Everything these kids go through, and to be able to win a section championship. With the disadvantages we have in the charter school. Indescribable feeling, and then of course to be able to share that with my daughter. She doesn't know this sorts of stuff. It just doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, that's just a fantastic image right there.
Yeah, I got to ask a question, TJ. You got to walk me through that opening kickoff, 85 yards to the house. I mean, what was the emotion on the sideline after that?
Setting the tone for the game. My teammates hyping me up before the game, telling me, like, you got this, we going to win this, and they got my back, we're going to get this championship.
And TJ, what did you see when you picked up the ball? Did you know immediately that you maybe had a chance to go to the house?
Yes, nothing but green.
And, Coach, what a start for your team, right? You're ahead 6-0, 8-0 after the conversion without even getting the offense on the field. What does that do for the mindset of the whole team in a big game like that, where nerves sometimes can be a factor?
Yeah, it's huge. Football, athletics in general, sports is a game of runs and momentum. So to get that momentum off the jump really set the tone for us. I was more proud of how we continued that on in the second half, because sometimes you get that big play early and you might hit a lull, or you might come out flat, but we matched that same energy and start the second half.
Well, you made a big adjustment at halftime too, heading into the second half, deciding to go to the Wildcat offense, and you put TJ at quarterback. How did you come to that decision? And I know Peter will ask TJ about it in a minute, but that's pretty gutsy, Coach. A sectional final tie game to make a strategic change like that. When did you know you were going to make that change, and how well did your guys execute it?
I knew about, Sunday last week. It's something we've been working on since by week 2, week 1. Just repping it, 10, 15 minutes of practice every offensive session. It was a matter of what game and when we were going to use it. I wanted to hold off as long as possible until, we get the big stage like this, and then use it. Something we've been doing for 2 or 3 years here, and it gets our athletes the ball in space very quickly. So it's very effective for us.
Now, TJ, going into halftime, switching the offensive scheme, sounds like you guys were able to practice it a little bit, but, what does it say about your coach's trust in you to kind of run that offense in the second half there and come out with a big victory?
It was a blessing. I'm glad they trusted me to make the right decisions and the right calls. But I also had them on my back since August. We've been practicing it forever, so it was only right for me to get it right.
So we look at what happened with UPrep in the second half. TJ, you scored the go-ahead touchdown to make it 16-8. Then Mark McClary gets in the act with a touchdown. Christopher Jean gets a touchdown, 32-8. Clyde Davis throws a touchdown pass to Mark McClary. As you guys just, you scored on possessions, you converted the 2-point conversions. And our guy that was on the last time, Sherrod Hot Rod Watkins, probably the best lineman in Section 5, 11.5 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and a sack. Coach, one thing that has impressed me the most following your team, and now it's an 8-game winning streak, your only loss was to Brighton in week 2, 21-19, is that every week I'm reading different names about players making big plays at the big time. And when you lost Jordan Jackson, your only D1 commit in week 2, this team really circled the wagons. What does it say about the depth of this team and these guys' ability to step up when the time is right?
Yeah, I think it's at least how you see Gananda. We have a ton of athletes, and once Joe went down, things changed a little bit, but our offense has always kind of been, whoever's the hot hand, really. You got athletes like that, you got to figure out ways to get them the ball in space. Now it's tough, because there's only one football, and it's a limited amount of time to do that. But guys, when we call their number, they're ready to go, and they've made plays for us all year.
So, TJ, to win for Coach Young in his second year, he had the spring season where you guys only lost 1 game, but with only 4 teams, did not make the sectional playoffs. How much of a mission were you guys on to, I don't want to say avenge because you didn't have a chance to do it, but to, finish the job in the fall?
Our mindset since off season, we're all there. Like you said, we had to bus to everywhere we went. I'm talking about 3 people to a seat everywhere. Ever since the off season, we had a strong mindset, and we just took that mindset every week and got better.
And Coach Young, not a ton of time to sit back and rest. You've got the state playing game next week with Canandaigua. Any quick thoughts on Canandaigua and getting ready for them? Because they've certainly been impressive all season too.
Yeah, no, first, just we'll circle back and congratulate Coach Leanne and Brighton on a great season. No matter what class you're in or who you're playing, going 9-0 is really an impossible feat. So hats off to them on their season. Canandaigua, they're a strong program. They got 3 in a row now, and it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a war for 4 quarters. I know that much.
Well, TJ Gillum, MVP last night. Congratulations, stepping up in the big moment. Coach Young, always generous with your time. Gemma, congratulations. A great story that we love to share, and we're happy to tell. And good luck next week. Thanks for joining us this morning.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Peter, what a story last night. That game was highly anticipated, and when we got home from doing our game and we started to look at that, just really impressive. What were your takeaways?
I think the halftime adjustments that UPrep made were big, and obviously the score shows it. And like you said, there's just so many different guys who they can give the ball to. And I know TJ kind of facilitated that in the second half, getting the ball around. But it's going to be interesting playing a very, very good Canandaigua team. I'm wondering if they're going to go right to the Wildcat to start that game, or maybe they start against the Braves the same way that they started against the Bruins. Definitely going to be a good one, and obviously high-stakes game being a state qualifier. So,
for sure. And Coach Leanne's going to join us here in a minute. It was classy, like Coach Young mentioned, a great season for Brighton. Joe, we ready to bring Coach in? So we're going to bring in Coach Steve Lian from Brighton. Fantastic 9-0 regular season, runners-up last night. Coach, good morning, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So right off the bat, Coach, I know every interview that I've seen with you this fall, you talked about how special the seniors on your team were. And one reason that we wanted to have you on, regardless of the outcome last night, is just to have you speak about those guys one more time and what they've meant to your program and how special this season has been for the Bruins.
Oh, man. I don't even know if I can do that without getting choked up. I think, we all obviously wanted to go into this game and win a title for our community. But not finishing the job hurts, but not being able to coach these boys on Mondays is the hardest part. They're unbelievably special. I told them last night as a dad, I'm so blessed that my oldest son was able to be a freshman in the program while they were seniors, and the impact they've had on him is incredible, and the impact they've had on me is just as big.
Yeah, I know that you have spoke to them all year long, and 8-8 game at halftime. You're a student of the game. When UPrep came out and switched up the offense in the second half, was that how did you guys respond to that? Was that what did you think about that? And it was a pretty bold move by Coach Young too.
No, it was a great move by him. It's kind of funny. Obviously going into the year, we had Alex Heininger, who I think is the best offensive lineman in the state, playing for us. But we knew, other than Alex, we were pretty small up front. Hats off to our defensive coordinator for all season putting together such a tough group. But when Alex went out with injury in our Irondequoit game, we were kind of holding our breath through the rest of this run that a team was just going to decide to kind of go double tight and do that Wildcat and kind of munch us. And we were lucky that no one kind of tried to do that to us. But when they came out in the second half, we, as a staff, we were like, okay, here it comes. And it's tough when two of our starting linemen up front offensively are a running back and a fullback that we had to convert in the preseason. And then our defensive line, we just didn't have enough depth to rotate guys in. The first guy we had off the bench, tough kid, but he's a freshman. So it just became just too much mass for us to stand up to.
Yeah, so we asked UPrep about that opening kickoff. Obviously, you guys were on the wrong side of it, but talk about kind of rallying your troops and being able to come back and obviously tie the ball game up at 8 during the first half.
Yeah, I mean, our guys have been down before. We were down when we played UPrep the first time. Obviously, that was a massive momentum shift to see that happen on the opening kickoff. But our defense then, was able to settle in, and we felt really good about what we were doing. A huge loss to us was when Ellis Einbinder, our stud wide receiver, free safety, went out with an injury late in the first half. we rallied, got the score tied to 8-8, but when he went out, that did limit us a lot second half in terms of the downfield passing. So, we felt good going into halftime, but we knew we were going to have to play a great half in the second half to get this thing done.
Steve, I know you're a big picture guy. What was your message at halftime, 8-8, to your guys that, with 24 minutes of football to go?
Really the same message we've always told them is that, we're so lucky to be playing together and we get a chance to battle in the second half where it's 8-8. Through COVID, through everything that this group has been through, and we have, 5 or 6 seniors that have been on varsity for a long time now. They've seen so much in their time in high school, and really, have learned the lessons of you just never know when it's your last snap. So really the message was you get an opportunity to fight with your family for another half of football. Let's go out there, try to do the best we possibly can. We felt good about it. Obviously, hats off to Coach Young. They came out with their adjustment in the second half. Proved to be a little bit too much for us to be able to handle. But again, how blessed are we that we got a chance to play more football together in that second half.
And Coach, one of the other reasons we wanted to have you on is you are our G&G Fitness Coach of the Week. Responses like that are a huge reason why we selected you. Yes, you've had a 9-1 record this season. Yes, you were the number 1 seed. Yes, you were undefeated. But that perspective, that outlook, all the things that you did leading up to even last season and this season to make sure football was played, we'd like to congratulate you on that. And just a little background on Coach. It's his 10th season. He's a graduate of Pittsford Mendon, 1996, Kenyon College. Teaches 6th grade at 12 Corners Middle School, and a 48-39 career record at Brighton. And just wanted to share this comment, too, from your athletic director, Nate Merritt. Steve is a true leader. He has put a great deal of time, along with his staff, in developing our program. He cares about every kid in the program, and they respect him and play hard for him. He's a great person first and a great coach second. We are lucky to have him. So for all you do for the kids in Brighton, and I know you do a lot of things for kids in Section 5 and also across the state, we just wanted to take a moment and salute you and thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric. It's a great honor, but again, I'm just so blessed to have the job that I have, to be able to coach this amazing game and do it in this incredible community of Brighton. I'm just so truly blessed to be able to do it.
And I know things are fresh and things are raw, but the future probably is bright for Brighton football as well, I would think, looking forward.
Yeah, we're excited. We got a special young group coming up. We have, we lose this just amazing senior class, but we have a lot of young guys that got great experience this year, made great contributions, and, start up again Monday, turn the page and get back to work.
Steve Leanne from Brighton, thank you so much for carving out some time, Coach. We appreciate it. Wish you the best always moving forward, and I'm sure that we will be talking to you again soon.
Thanks so much, and thanks for all you guys do to cover Section 5 athletics.
You bet. So, Peter, with that, we will head into our first break. We will come back on the other side and talk about our Athletes of the Week. You're watching the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show live on Rock Sports Now.
Looking for a used truck? Can you find one out of 350? At BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com, you'll find one. Love SUVs? 800 are waiting for you to take one home at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com. Add 350 pre-owned sedans, and you've got a total of 1,500 used vehicles only at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com.
Bob Johnson's got you right. Bob Johnson.
While we celebrate 140 years of serving our community, the kind of delicious joy that lasts a lifetime, we look forward to serving you for 140 more. With hardworking, wholehearted, passionate people who will help shape new memories for generations to come.
When it comes to workers' comp, things can change quickly. The only way to make sure your rights are protected is to have a trusted, committed attorney on your side.
An attorney who has devoted their career to helping injured workers.
Someone to fight for the money and medical benefits you deserve.
The only person on your side
is the attorney at your side.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
The best three things here at McQuaid are definitely the sports, the brotherhood, and the service to community. I think that's a really big, important thing that McQuaid stresses, which is part of creating a better and great man. You definitely feel a connection with your fellow students here. It's being all-guy school. You're able to relate to each other on a personal level, and everyone's very welcoming here with open arms and willing to be your friend.
Local McDonald's operators care about our local schools, teams, and student athletes. That's why they support the return of high school athletics in the Rochester area and around the state. See you before or after the big game at McDonald's. Welcome back, Section 5. Game on!
In these challenging times, our dedicated team at American Custom continues to provide top quality installations to every customer. With guidelines and restrictions changing daily, we apply attention to every detail. You can trust our team to make sure the job is done right.
And welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Steve Bradley, Peter Carosa sitting in for this segment. Should mention all of our guests appearing on the Specialties Hotline. Specialties, a great company out of Geneseo, does all kinds of T-shirts, monogramming, whatever you need. And a great supporter, Section 5, great supporter of our program. Helped bring us the guests in the first segment. The second segment, Peter, is what we call our awards and honors segment. We take our Bob Johnson Auto Athletes of the Week. Bob Johnson Auto Group, great company, one of the biggest Chevy dealers in the country, and Chevy and beyond, actually. They have all kinds of makes, models. They've got the right car for almost anybody in any need. And we'll start out with the Girls Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, so our Girls Athlete of the Week is Gabby Curtis from the Penfield Field Hockey Team. The juniors scored both goals in their big Section 5 Class A championship game over Brighton. That's the Patriots' second title in 3 years. She followed up scoring the winner with 97 seconds left to play in Wednesday's 2-1 win over Maine Enwell. Penfield, which is 13-5 under coach Jillian Esposito, faces Clarence, who's 15-1 this season, in Saturday's 5 p.m. state quarterfinals at Pittsford Sutherland.
And congratulations to Gabby, for sure. Awesome week, big goals and big moments. And our Boys Athlete of the Week, kind of the same thing. We go back to Hilton Soccer. Cody Cavuto, the senior striker, scored both goals in the 2-0 win over Monroe County Division I rival Fairport on Tuesday's Section 5 Class AA championship match. He also nodded home the winner in the semi-final victory, 2-1 over Penfield. We had talked about that on last week's program. The Cadets are 18-1-1. They defeated Williamsville North last night 1-0 to make it to the state quarterfinals. And Hilton keeps on rolling, so congratulations to both Cody Cavuto and to Gabby Curtis. We mentioned our G&G Fitness Equipment Coach of the Week in the last segment. That's Coach Steve Lian from Brighton, real ambassador for Section 5 football, part of that. I call them the next generation of coaches and leaders in Section 5 that there's a group of coaches that have been in about 10 or 12 years that are really making their mark on Section 5 and football across New York. Coach Land's certainly one of those people in that group. And then before we head into our next segment with Pittsford Sutherland Soccer, Jeff will join us on that for a couple of pre-recorded interviews. Just a couple of quick shout-outs following up on a story we had earlier this fall. Mike Rapone, the winningest coach in Section 5 basketball, is stepping down at Notre Dame of Batavia. The school did announce this week that he will be succeeded by his son, Mike Rapone, better known as Mikey. So after 42 years of Mikey Rapone will start his tenure at Notre Dame in 2022. And I would be remiss if I did not give a little bit of love to my alma mater, the Pavilion Gophers. Girls volleyball team won the Section 5 Class D2 title last night with a win over Hartley-Allendale Columbia. Gophers are 23-0. The most impressive thing, though, Peter, they're 69-0. They have not lost a set yet. So Coach Rex Amy and his team will try to get into the state playoffs. And with that, we will head to the second half of the show. We've got Pittsford Sutherland soccer coming up next, followed by an interview with Gananda Marion tennis. So you're listening to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. You're not listening, you're watching. We're live streaming, or you're watching on demand, and we're on Rock Sports Now.
I'm a biomedical sciences major. My goal is to one day open up my own pediatric office. I want to create an environment almost similar to the environment that Roberts creates for me. I want them to walk into the doctor's office and feel love. When I got here, I was just like, yeah, this is home. This is where I need to be. Be prepared for an adventure, be prepared for a journey, and enjoy the journey.
Started on the spot cleaners in 2001. I saw that my kids were crawling on the carpets and I thought, what is in these carpets? Later that year in the fall, I started to notice my daughter's allergies peak. After some allergy testing, we realized there'd be a benefit to having our ducts cleaned. As a business owner, we took the certification necessary, performed the service in our home, and immediately saw results and thought this is going to be fantastic for our business and our customers. The duct cleaning process uses a HEPA filtration vacuum that will draw air through the ductwork. We have truck-mounted air compressors that blow whips and rods through the ductwork to move and dislodge the debris. We apply an antimicrobial treatment for odor and bacteria when we're completed. We protect your furnace with zone bags so that way no debris will fall over the furnace heat exchangers. The benefits of air duct cleaning is pretty simple. Your indoor air quality traps a lot of dust and allergens. Once we're done with the cleaning, you have a cleaner, fresher home.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
The College Dollar is a local company that gives parents the information to make good decisions about their college choice. With more than 10 years of experience, the College Dollar has been helping families understand the complexities of paying for college without overwhelming debt and what to do when it's time to pay back college loans. With college debt reaching $1.85 trillion, everyone needs help. Visit thecollegedollar.com and connect for a free 15-minute conversation about saving you college dollars. And consider attending one of their upcoming seminars to hear the inside scoop on scholarships, grants, and loans.
In these challenging times, our dedicated team at American Custom continues to provide top quality installations to every customer. With guidelines and restrictions changing daily, we apply attention to every detail. You can trust our team to make sure the job is done right.
Sweet baby, oh baby,
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. I'm Jeff DeVeronica. He's Steve Bradley. And before we get into our next great interview, I want to tell you about our great sponsors, Bath Fitter. They can remake your bathroom in one day. They're a great local company. It's a national brand, but these are local people doing great local work. You would hear, if it was bad local work in Rochester, word of mouth travels fast in this town, but so does good work. And Bath Fitter is doing it all over town. There's a reason they're among the top 4 in gross sales in the country. Bath Fitters, because you do great work here in Rochester. So give them a call, 617-0007. Hit them up on the website, bathfitter.com, and schedule your no-hassle free consultation. Bath Fitter, remodel with confidence. Remodel with Bath Fitter. All right, Steve Bradley, let's bring on our next set of guests on the Specialties Skype hotline. They are champions for a third consecutive year, and there are a few lucky boys on the Pittsford Sutherland soccer team that have won 3 straight titles. The coaches won 3 straight titles. Let's first welcome on, he's in his 9th season, Sean Hopkins, coach of the Sutherland Knights. 1-0 victory. They were the top seed. They beat the number 2 seed, a really tough out, John Mahoney's Churchville Chili team, and it was overtime. It's the Churchville Chili team that's a good mojo in overtime in the postseason, but not the other night, not on Tuesday night. 1-0, a goal by Henry Walbaum in overtime. Sean Hopkins, you lost three title games, and now you've won 3 in a row. 7 title games in 9 years. You're now 4-3 in title games. I'm just going to start with it. Is Sutherland the new Mendon?
Sutherland is just Sutherland, and we've had some great success here over the last years, and the kids have really bought into the culture, and the expectation is to win that sectional block, and we talk about it every year, and the kids have been working hard, and they're getting the job done, so it's been awesome.
I was remiss in not introducing our other guest. His name is Will Field, top goal scorer for Sutherland. Will, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're recording this the day after an overtime championship game goal. How does it feel the day after, Will?
The sort of like that high from it sort of has faded a bit, but it still just feels amazing knowing that we're moving on and we're going to have a shot at states, which we didn't get to do last year despite winning a sectional championship because of COVID. And I don't know, I just think this team can go on to do great things, and I'm looking forward to it.
So, Will, take us through the winning play, the goal by Henry Walbaum in overtime off a pass from Ryan Patrone. What was your role in the play, and what was your view of it?
So at the start of the play, I won the ball back from Churchville, and then I set it, and David and Henry Leahy had some a great little combination. Played it out wide to Ryan, and then Ryan hit it crossing, and the goalie popped it out, and Walbaum just had a great finish to just end the game and stayed calm and collected. It was awesome.
Sometimes it's being opportunistic, Steve, right? And being in the right place at the right time. Doug Miller made a career of that for the Rochester Rhinos.
Especially in overtime when it's one bounce, one break, and it's a game changer.
But, Coach, in the story I read, you had kind of told your guys, look, it might not be a thing of beauty here, but you got to be ready for the mistake, for the loose ball, and your guys were. Was that a typical Sutherland goal this year, or was it just kind of a, hey, we'll take what we can get?
Yeah, no, we've talked about that a lot, and to be there and be ready if a goalie makes a save but doesn't hold on to it, and just get a little tap in. It counts the same as an upper 90 blast, So we'll take it all day, and it just so happened that it happened, and it fell right to Walbaum's feet, and we had just talked about it right before overtime.
So, Will, too, I know that Pittsford likes to celebrate in style. How about the celebration on the field? And I think I know the answer, but did you get fire trucks afterwards?
Yeah, we got some fire trucks leading us into the Sutherland bus loop there, and then we took some pictures of the fire trucks, and then we all went to the pub to celebrate. Pittsford Pub, not.
That's cool. Yeah, that's great. That's Pittsford Pub. It's one of our sponsors.
Yeah, their game of the week. We could make them the game of the week. We could double down here.
Well done, Will. The game of the week, Pittsford Pub. Why not? Let's do it. Thank you, Will. Sean Hopkins, let me ask you about Churchville Chili. You played them in mid-October. Was a 0-0 match. You went 0-0 through regulation on Tuesday night. What made them so difficult to break down, and how fortunate do you feel to get past them?
Churchville's a great team. We've had some really great games against them in the past few years. This year they were just so good defensively. Their midfield worked so hard. We had no space in the first half yesterday. They were all over the place. They have great goalie play, and they're really hard to score against, and so are we. So I think that's why we're in another 0-0 battle for a long time.
Well, let me throw this at Steve Bradley. I did not put this in your notes. I looked it up later. In 4 championship games coached by Sean Hopkins that his Sutherland Knights have won, how many goals do you think they've given up?
I'm going to go with 0.
I'm going to say 0. That is correct, sir. As I recall, at least I wrote it down, 1-0 against Churchville in overtime, 2-0 last year against Churchville, 1-0 against Wayne in 2019, and 2-0 in HFL against HFL in 2017, and that was the one that snapped the 10-year drought. And it had been a while for Sutherland, right? Mendon had won, I think, 4 4 in like a 12-year span under Mark Hurley, and Coach Hopkins was on that staff for many of those years. And then he comes over to Sutherland, and right away, a couple losses in title games, but you finally win it.
Can I get one for Coach here?
Absolutely, yeah.
Coach, the senior class, you have 15 seniors. What have they meant, and what about the opportunity to play for a state championship? Will mentioned that last year there seems to be a little hunger because it wasn't there last year. But what did these seniors bring, and I think, what are you looking forward to moving forward in the postseason?
Yeah, we have 15 seniors, like you said. 5 of them have been around now for 3 years and have their name on 3 blocks. So we have some experience there. We start 9 of those seniors. So yeah, I mean they've been very important to us. They're leaders. They're great kids. They're great soccer players. They put a lot of time into it. Last year we felt like we kind of got gypped because we didn't get a chance to go to state. So we're really excited about that opportunity. We're going to be playing Williamsville South, and I've watched some film on them. They look really good. It's going to be another great game, but we're really looking forward to it.
This game will be 7:30 tonight out at Williamsville South. I say tonight because this is a Saturday as you folks watch this on YouTube live and beyond. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know Carter Kladstrup was in goal, one of those seniors, the brother of Dylan Kladstrup. Coach, was last year the first year without Dylan, or was he on the team last year? My mind's a little foggy here.
So last year Dylan got hurt in the first round of sectionals, and we didn't have him for the rest of the way.
And that was last year. So you did win without him. Will, let me ask you about who are the 2 other – you said there were 3 – you told me there were 3 seniors that have played on all 3 championship teams. Who are the 2 other guys?
So the 2 other guys that played my sophomore year all season are David Adedoyan and Henry Leahy. And then 2 guys got pulled up for sectionals too and ended up getting the name on the block, which is Henry Wallbaum and Carter Kladstrup.
And, Will, how about the defense? Jeff mentioned, in all the championship games, the wins haven't been any goals given up. What about the defensive effort last night? And maybe a shout-out to a couple of those guys who kept the ball out of your net.
Oh, yeah, those guys are awesome. Like, every single game, they play phenomenal. You get some scary moments because other teams have great players, and they almost always manage to shut them down. And then, like, Drew Call, I would say he's probably the best defender in Section 5. He's amazing. Gets down for slide tackles, wins every ball. And then he's surrounded by 3 other great defenders that are just absolute workhorses in Harry Vogt, Thomas Kwan, and Henry Goldstein.
Well, I tell you what, it takes, those championship games, and I'm not sure I'm going to ask Coach this one. You guys had 9 1-goal wins this year. Is there something about, and I know Mahoney's team, Churchville, had they knew how to win close games too. What's it take to win close matches? Certainly at this time of the year. What kind of kids do you need to have?
First of all, you got to have a great defense, and we obviously feel like we do. And the kids got to believe that they're going to win, and they just got to keep working, even in these close battles. And we've been a part of so many now that I think we almost just kind of expect it, and we never give up. And the kids just keep working, and they find ways to get it done.
Well, same time next year seems to work for Sutherland. I'll tell you that. It's 3 in a row for the Knights, and certainly lots of competition coming out of Section 5, and that usually bodes well for the future. Gentlemen, hopefully you got a couple more weeks left in you, and maybe we'll be talking in a couple weeks right here after a state championship. I'm trying to think here. Ian Pilarski in that group. Has Sutherland ever won a state title, Coach? I don't think they have.
We have 2. The last one, I think, was in '85.
That even predates me. That's a long time ago.
Well, you were around in '85. You were in high school.
I was in high school. That's true, but not in Rochester. Hey, Will Field, thanks for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck to you and the Knights. Coach Hopkins, good to see you again, and best of luck to you tonight, Williamsville South.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Sutherland Soccer right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show and on our great Special Tees Skype hotline. Special Tees, great company down in Geneseo. You want to commemorate a Section 5 championship, put your logo on a hat, a drawstring bag, on a quarter zip, whatever you want, Steve Bradley, they can do it.
I'm a quarter zip guy.
When are we, you have a bevy of them. When are we going down to Special Tees to get fitted for our Connors and Ferris High School show quarter zips?
Yeah, maybe right after we deliver the Thanksgiving dinners with Primetime.
Let's make a day of it. All right, we'll take another break, come back. You're watching the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show on Rock Sports now.
You come here as a 6th grader or a 9th grader, you have to spend your 4, 5, 6 years here and just get involved in so many different things. And then you're going to go out and set fire on the earth. When you get through McQuaid Jesuit, you're not going to fail when you get out in the world.
Tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. 30 years across the country they've been doing this stuff. 20 plus years in Rochester. You don't have that kind of longevity without treating your customers right, doing great quality work. Please check them out online, bathfitter.com. Call the local office at 617-0007. It's Bath Fitter Rochester. Don't be a DIY diva and try to do it yourself. Don't screw it up. Let the pros do it. Remodel with confidence. Remodel with Bath Fitter. And please tell them you heard about it right here from Jeff DeVeronica on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. We're brought to you by Salvador's Pizza.
There are plenty of professional sports teams in Rochester, but there's also a lot of great high school sports action in each town in our area. Last time you checked out a high school game. Section 5 sports are about more than just wins and losses. They're about teaching teamwork, dedication, and discipline. So support the kids who play for your school. Get out and watch a high school game today. For more information, including schedules, rosters, and stats, visit section5.org. That's sectionv.org. Brought to you by the Monroe County League and Section 5.
In doing the work you do, if you're hurt, we'll help you through.
Don't be fooled. Video hearings are as critical as appearing in person.
Make sure your rights are protected.
Your employer has trained specialists on their side.
And the judges work for New York State.
The only person on your side
is the attorney at your side.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
Get in the game at Rochester Regional Health Total Sports Experience. TSC micro programs are a jumpstart to an active lifestyle. Programs start at age 2, where kids learn the fundamentals of team sports in a fun and friendly environment. Celebrate a birthday or special occasion with the whole team. Our event staff can coordinate a super fun day, from gameplay to party room. Book it today. Adult leagues and tournaments are offered in soccer, lacrosse, and more. 2 Rochester locations. Visit totalsports-experience.com.
Local McDonald's operators care about our local schools, teams, and student athletes. That's why they support the return of high school athletics in the Rochester area and around the state. See you before or after the big game at McDonald's. Welcome back, Section 5. Game on!
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show here on Rock Sports Now. Steve Bradley alongside Jeff. Ready to bring on our next guest. Jeff, just a great story here.
That's what we do. We tell great stories.
We try. And this is a story of cooperation, collaboration, and somebody from a small school making a great run in the state playoffs. So our next guests are Coach Terry Krocke of the Marion Gananda girls tennis team and Larisa Kotok, the player that almost won a state title this year. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Larisa.
Hi.
Relax. Nobody's watching. It's just me and Steve right now, and Coach. Congrats on a great season. State runner-up in your first year of varsity tennis. How does that, has it sunk in that you went all that way?
It really hasn't yet. Like, I'm still shocked about it.
And Larisa, at the state meet, and just to put this into perspective, when they announced it, Coach told me 10,000 girls play high school tennis at the modified junior varsity and varsity levels, 400 schools in New York State, and you finished second. And up until the summer, you didn't even know you'd be playing varsity tennis. So why don't you tell us how you kind of got on a team this year and this all got started?
Yeah, so I just got an email from my school saying that we had an opportunity to combine with Marion for a tennis team, and I was like, wow, I was so shocked. So I was like, okay, yeah. I signed up for the survey, and then by the time I knew it, I was signed up for varsity tennis for the Marion Gananda team. And then it just started from there.
And Terry, I know there was a little confusion the first day of practice that everybody wasn't there. So the second day of practice, Larisa and Paige from Gananda joined the 3 girls from Marion, and you run practice and take it from there. What happened?
Well, the first day we practiced at 8 o'clock in the morning, then till about 9:30, and nobody from Gananda showed up. So I talked to my AD, and she said there was a communication glitch there where the time wasn't right. So then that afternoon, I went on the family ID of Gananda, and Larisa was there and her other player from Gananda. So I took it upon myself to call her and her mother to get her to practice, let her know what time, introduce myself, and they showed up on Tuesday at 3 o'clock for a 3:15 practice. We introduced ourselves, walked out on the court, and 15 minutes later, I knew I had a winner.
What struck you about her? So, I mean, in the first few ground strokes you saw, what impressed you so much, Coach?
Well, I've coached girls 14 years, and I had never seen anybody with her talent and hit the ball just the way she did. I mean, I played a long time all my life, and I was 4 feet back on the baseline, and she was just hammering it at me, and I was hammering it back, and from there on, it was go.
Larisa, what was it like for you getting acclimated, not with just a new coach, but new teammates, and how did that relationship evolve over the season?
I remember the first day I was so nervous. I barely talked to anyone. I talked to the girl from Gananda, Paige, for a little bit, but other than that, I didn't really talk. And then as the practices went on, I just became so close with the team. It was I never expected it. So and I still talk to them now. We hang out all the time. So yeah, great.
Now, had you played a varsity or have you played a fall sport before? You're a junior, so it's not like you're a young girl, but.
No, I haven't played a fall sport.
Okay, but you played tennis before. Yeah. It wasn't like you just picked up the racket for the first time in August.
Oh, no.
So tell us about that. How did you first start playing tennis?
So I picked up my first racket at around 5. I played for fun. My sister played tennis, so I would always go on the court for fun and play with her. She would get annoyed, and then she really got me into it, and I started playing tournaments at around 8, and yeah. And I fell in love with it from there.
And your sister, a 2013 Gananda graduate, never got to play, but she went on to play Division I at University of Buffalo and is now a coach at the U of R. What are your tennis dreams, Larisa?
I'm shooting for a D1 college as well. Still looking at schools, but definitely want to go Division I for tennis.
I would think being runner-up for the state is a pretty good resume builder for you there, right?
Yeah.
Not bad. Coach, if you were breaking down hers as if you were scouting her, what are her strengths? It sounds like she's got a pretty good ground stroke.
She's a very strong player. Her forehand is very hard. Her backhand is probably better than her forehand, I think. She hits from a backhand right-hander, you hit it from the left side of the court to the reverse side of the right side on the opposite end, and she can almost put it on a dime in that corner every time if she wanted to. But she's got her game is so evolved. It's not just hitting the ball. She's got drop strokes. She's got 2 kinds of serves. But the main thing with her is her attitude and just keeping so positive all the time.
We should mention that Larisa was the Section 5 Sportsmanship Team Award winner, also at the state, so speaks well to her character there. And Larisa, talk about the nickname you have for Coach and how you guys who didn't know each other 12, 13 weeks ago have developed quite a relationship and quite a rapport.
Yeah, so he's not Terry. We nicknamed him Charlie because we decided that he looked like a Charlie. And then he shared with us that he was Charlie in a musical in high school. So we just went along with it from there.
It's probably about the only thing I respond to. She'll say Coach and I don't respond. I'll hear Charlie and my head will snap over to her direction.
How special was this season for you, Terry, Charlie? When there was some doubt whether you would be coaching this fall if you didn't have the numbers, and then to be coaching all the way to the last match of the high school tennis season.
It was probably a highlight of my, coaching career. You only get a player maybe once in your lifetime within any sport. They'll have the talent and the attitude and just the gift that she's got. She's so talented.
Larisa, let me ask you this. You went 32-1 on the season, obviously the one loss in the state championship, and I think you were swept in that one. What did you notice in the final weekend of the season of those players? You looked around and probably saw the players playing too. What do you need to get better at So then you win the last match, and you're the last woman standing. What needs to happen between now and next fall for you to be the last one standing?
I guess I just have to like keep practicing mentally and physically to like be prepared for that, because I see competition like that a lot during the tournaments I play. So I just have to really work on it and keep practicing.
So now, like serve and volley, Coach, let me ask you this, Coach, to you. What do you think she needs to work on, maybe so she can be the winner?
I think it's just the experience she had being in the final. She was so nervous 4 or 5 games in, she held her hands out and she was still shaking. And I kind of kidded around with her, and there wasn't much I could do at that point, as far as what she was doing right or wrong on the court. It was just, tennis is a lot of mental, not just physical. And I think when she got to that point, just the nerves, everybody had told her this girl hits the ball so hard and does this or that. And I kept telling her, you're number 2 right now. You're going into the final. You've got an awful lot of talent too. So down the road, it's just, like she said, she's just going to work on her game. I know she plays all the time. We kidded around about, in the summer, there's at TCR Tennis Club of Rochester, there's a tournament called the Districts. Of course, she's got to play the Open, and I'm not quite at that caliber, so we're not sure how we're going to tackle that one.
Terry, what does this say, though, about partnerships? Sometimes small schools don't have enough athletes to do it themselves. So Gananda, John Tikachek, and Lori DeLizer, the athletic directors, got the ball rolling, and the opportunities that it gives student athletes and the good things that can happen when these things do come together.
That was great. I mean, Larisa probably wouldn't even had the opportunity to play in high school if, my AD, Lori DeLizer, told me, she played softball for her in the spring and how talented and how gifted she was as an athlete. And then she had asked her what she does in the fall, and she says, well, tennis is my sport. And when the AD told me that, I said, tennis is her sport, and she said club. And I said, I knew she had talent then without even seeing her. But it just came to fruition when I knew I had only 3 girls coming back. I said to her, we need to combine. There wasn't any ifs, ands, or buts. It was just we needed to do that, and the ADs made it work for us.
Awesome. And Larisa, this is kind of usually Jeff's question, but who's your favorite tennis player, and who do you model your game after?
I don't really have a favorite tennis player. I just love watching like every single player because they're all so different. You can't like choose a favorite one.
Go back and get on YouTube and watch some John McEnroe matches, but just don't yell like him, okay? If you're looking to break down a serve and volley, or John McEnroe is your guy. If you're looking to break down attitude, not so much.
And just to talk about how dominant Larisa was in the regular season, she won the Class B2 title, and her record through winning sectionals was 264-1. She lost 1 game until she got into the play at the state qualifier. And watching you play at the state qualifier, Larisa, would you say that better competition brings out the best in your game?
Yeah. I think I try to play higher level, like when I play higher level people. So, yeah, I would say so.
So softball in the spring, tennis in the fall, anything in the winter, or do you kind of relax a little bit?
No, I still play like for my club tennis.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. You were our Bob Johnson Auto Athlete of the Week last week for winning sectionals. And obviously you did us proud by going all the way to the state championship match. So good job by you going all the way, representing Section 5. Well done. Congratulations on a great season, Larisa. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
Charlie, Terry.
He deserves congratulations,
Coach,
too. Charlie got his buck on Sunday. So
you got a buck. All right. And you might want to say that a lot of her matches this year were a love fest. Get it?
264-1.
All right. On that bad pun, I'm going to we'll head to the end of the show today, Steve. Thank you, folks, for being on our program. We appreciate it. Thanks to all of our guests today. Thanks to our viewing audience. Thanks to Steve Bradley. Obviously, after you've watched this show, you've known that I'm not here for this is a recorded segment, and Steve's he took care of the live segment this morning. So, Steve, thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you. I'll try to live up to the high billing.
I feel like this is having an out-of-body experience right now. For our producer, Joe Brott, and for Steve Bradley, my name is Jeff DeVeronica. Thanks for watching us right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show on Rock Sports Now.